All right, let's do another example where we are working with factorials like this. Okay, so the first step is to write carefully our formulas for a sub n. So a sub n is going to equal 2 to the n. So I have 2 to the n times n factorial. And then in the denominator, 5 times 8 times 11 times ... times. Now I've got to figure out what is the term that comes right before 3n plus 2. In order to do that, I'm looking to see how do I get, for instance, from 11 to 8, I subtract 3. How do I get from 8 to 5? Subtract 3. So then here, with the 3n plus 2, how do I get to the term right before it? I need to subtract 3, and I'll have 3n minus 1. Okay, so I've got my a sub n. Now what is a sub n plus 1? In the numerator, I will have 2 to the n plus 1 times n plus 1 quantity factorial. And in the denominator, I'll have 5 times 8 times 11 times ... times 3 n plus 1 minus 1 times 3 n plus 1 plus 2. Okay, and I can simplify this as 2 to the n plus 1 times n plus 1 factorial times 5 times 8 times 11 times ... 3n plus 2 times 3n plus 5. So now, when I go to write my ratio, a sub n plus 1 over a sub n, I'm going to combine, right? In one step, I'll have 2 to the n plus 1 times n plus 1 factorial in the numerator. And in the denominator, I'll have 5 times 8 times 11 times ... times 3n plus 2 times 3n plus 5. Okay, and then in the numerator, let's see, I'll need to have 5 times 8 times 11 times ... times 3n minus 1 times 3n plus 2. Okay, oh yeah, let me add this 2 to the n times n factorial in the denominator. Now things are going to, see, times that cancels out 5 times 8 times 11, so we can cancel that out. And then the 2 to the n cancels out with 2 to the n plus 1, but I'm just left with 2. And the n plus 1 factorial cancels out with the n factorial, and I'm just left with n plus 1. So overall, this is going to equal 2n plus 1 divided by 3n plus 5. Okay, so what is L? L is the limit as n goes to infinity of a sub n plus 1 over a sub n, and then the absolute value of that ratio. So we get the limit as n goes to infinity of the absolute value of 2 times n plus 1 over 3n plus 5. We don't need the absolute values because 2n plus 1, 2 times n plus 1 is always going to be positive. 3n plus 5 is always going to be positive, so we can just rewrite this as 2n plus 2 over 3n plus 5. All I did was just distribute that 2 in the numerator. What is this limit? This limit is 2/3. So since L is equal to 2/3, which is less than 1, our series is absolutely convergent.